Gold jacket, green jacket, who gives you?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gold Jacket, Green Jacket podcast. We're here for episode number 71. Christian Dragonetti and Joel Mitchell joining you as always. Jolie, mate, how are you?
Very good.
You nearly died a minute ago.
We had to restart.
We had to restart.
I had a coughing attack, but otherwise I'm good. Otherwise I'm
you're all good.
And you?
I'm well, mate. I'm well. I'm in a very, very good mood.
I can tell.
Yeah,
can
mate,
tell.
I'm in a phenomenal
He's
mood.
buzzing.
I had an RDO today. I played golf. US Open was on this morning. Oops.
Yeah.
Sorry. Right. And yeah, mate, I've spent the morning, I got the dog out for a walk before the round. I played all right. US Open was awesome. Came home and watched the final 10 holes just to
beautiful.
to recap it, and so we could have something to talk about in the
He's in a
bonus
good-
episode.
You haven't got the shits. This will be a good ep.
Hopefully. I think this is the first one. In 71 episodes, this is the first one I'm actually in a good
You're in a
mood.
bubbly mood. He's like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah. No, very good.
Anyway.
Let's get into recent rounds,
dive
Jolie.
in.
Do you want to
We'll
go
dive into it
first?
straight away? Yeah, my most recent was Sunday.
Nice.
Play with the old boy. Play with a couple other guys.
Cool.
It was all right.
Yep.
I had 68, so what's that, 3 under?
Yep.
Which was good. I was happy with it, except I made 2 huge mistakes on holes that I should be birdieing.
Okay.
And one of the weirdest things that actually rattled me a little bit happened as well. So we started on 14. Was it 14?
Okay.
Yeah, it might have been 14. No, sorry, it was 13. We started on 13. Anyway, I birdied 14 and 16, I think, to start off. So I'm like, all right, cruisy, happy days.
Yeah.
And, we've
Good
got some
start.
holes left. I'll just figure it out from there, right? Bogeyed 17. I'm like, that's not it. And then had like a 15-foot eagle putt on 18 or something like that. So I'm like, beautiful. Hit the ball great, right? Hit the ball good. Then on 1, which was bizarre, right? I've hit driver for the last probably 12 months on that hole because I've realized hitting driver, the further right you go, the more space there is.
Okay.
And the further you hit it and the further right you go, the more space there is. And yeah, the green's there if you can hit it far enough, but I find I have more trouble trying to hit it 2-iron or 4-iron over the tree with it cut.
Yeah,
I find I don't, the fairway's so thin there.
You were hitting 3 wood there for a long time,
With a
and,
lot
it
of-
was,
with
and you were just slotting it.
Yeah, it was good. It was
Yeah.
great. But I'm like, I've got 60 meters in, which I backed myself to put relatively close inside that sort of 15 feet mark, right? But I'm like, fuck it. Fuck it. If I put it over the fence, well, you hit a shit shot, right? And I pegged one up. And for the most part, I thought I put it over the fence. Like it started too straight and cut. And I'm like, that's the one thing you couldn't have done.
Nah.
Right? So I'm like, and it was stroke, right? On Sunday. It was max score stroke. I'm
no.
like, well, I've got to peg another one.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's a provisional or not. I said provisional just in case it's hit a goat or a horse's head and
Yeah.
bounced over, right? So for the most part, because I've hit that shot so many times and I sort of saw the flight, I'm like, the only way that gets over is if it just carries the fence and sitting in amongst the trees. That's the only way it gets over, or it hits the road, right? Anyway, I hit the second one, and I thought I've slotted this. I'm like, that could be on the green.
Yeah,
So
right.
happy days, maybe make up and down 4, maybe, right? Anyway, so I'm a bit like, and as I'm walking off that tee box, I was fully content going, yeah, I've hit that over the fence. Based off how it flew and how many times I've hit a certain shot and where they've ended up, I was pretty confident it wasn't in play.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, well, anyway, we get down there, we didn't see a ball, and the group in front goes, in the bunker. And I'm like, okay, that'll be my provy.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm like, righto. So I'm sort of quickly checked the fence line to see if there's one sitting up against it or something like that. Didn't see anything. Get to the bunker, and it's my first ball. And
Okay.
I'm like,
Christmas.
I'm like, I can't wait to see the bottom of this. This is gonna be fucked from the road. That was my guess, right? And then I'm like, hang on a sec, where's my second ball? So I'm thinking, well, it's not in the bunker. It's not on the fence line for the most part because it was covered in leaves and shit, right? I couldn't see anything. So I went and checked the hole. It wasn't in the hole because I'm like, hey, birdie, right? No, but no. Checked the back bunker, nowhere to be found.
Yeah, right.
My first ball that I was convinced was gone was in play, and my second ball that I thought was mint was gone. Like, I had no
Golf.
and I'm like Christmas. Now my first ball in this bunker, so I'm like, there's no way I've carried. because it wasn't on this line. It was right of the green. So it must have either just carried and rolled in somehow or it's pitched on the road.
Yeah.
Right. And I've gotten a lucky break, right? So I'm like, oh, anyway. And because I'm still standing over this bunker shot going, this is not right. That's not how those two shots felt. So I'm like,
well.
but it would have been the luckiest thing ever. So I'm like, all right. I end up hitting the bunker shot to 5 feet. I 3-putted it from 5 feet.
Cool.
I smoked it through the break and then missed the one low coming back. And I'm like, and it resulted in a bogey, which I'm like, that's what I thought I was going to make anyway.
Yeah, right.
So it was like this weird, and then I made birdie on 2, which sort of settled it. But it was fucking bizarre. Like I'm standing at the edge of this bunker going,
how am I here?
what? Like for one, what rattled me the most was the fact that there were two polar opposite shots, but the best one was the one I thought I hit worse.
Yeah.
That I thought was gone, like as in over the fence. And the second one I thought I'd munched.
Yeah.
And that's nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Like it was bizarre to me. But
How good's golf?
yeah. And then, I bogeyed 9 after plugging in the face of the bunker after waiting 15 minutes for the group in front of us to have 7 putts each. My God, that annoyed me, as you can probably tell.
Yeah, I can tell.
But was it a factor? Yes. Was it an excuse? No. But and then I made bogey on 9, which cost me a few shots as well. But yeah, otherwise hit the ball good. I'm working hard on myself at the moment.
Yeah, good.
Like personally, with like physically a lot
Yeah.
as well, which helps every aspect of your life, I guess. But yeah, otherwise just preparation for next month.
How good?
Yeah, that's about it.
No, very good. Well, I got out today, Monday, played at Heidelberg with Mark from Chasing Birdies.
Yep.
First round with Mark for what feels like forever. I said to him today, I'm like, I feel like I haven't played with you since Bunt Burgle. And he goes, no, we played on Easter Monday, which was shortly after.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that's still a long time ago. That's still a year and a half ago. It's what it feels like. You know what I mean?
Oh, right, dude, that rattled me. I'm like, wait, what? What time of year is it? Yeah, anyway, sorry.
And yeah, played off 3 and had 36 points. I was stoked.
Good day. Good day.
Just solid. Super, super, super solid round of golf. And just it was real. Putted phenomenally all day long. Hit 2 of the crispest shots I reckon I've hit in a long time. Raptor, if you're listening, your mate Matt is back. I hate to let you know. He's going to get an absolute kick out of that.
That was the first question that Luke asked me. He goes, "How's Matt?" I'm like, "How'd you know?" He goes, "I know."
You know what? He's looking good.
Oh, come off it.
Matt's looking
Fuck,
good.
He's the ugliest prick I've ever seen. He has a busted mug.
But no, on 6, again, like just it was playing 103 or so
Was it at the back?
up the back, from 103 to the back pin, probably playing closer to 107. But the wind was howling.
Yeah, it was
if today's
windy
not a +1 daily difficulty, I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
It was really, really blowing. And it was howling left to right. And I'm like, beautiful, just hang it out there and it'll push it back. And executed it,
did it,
to
yeah.
perfection. Had like 3 feet for birdie.
Oh, good. Yeah.
It was mint. And just drained the putt. And then drained a putt on 17 as well for bird, which was cool. So,
So under par on the par 3s.
yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Funnily enough, which was really cool.
Happy days.
I played really well.
Happy days.
Played really well.
Happy
I'm like just super, super happy with where things are at the moment. Ball striking's good. I found this little groove with driver again, and I'm just, dude.
There he is. No TSR for sale.
Nah, man, not for a long time. Not for a long time.
He'll shoot 82 next week. And that's all I've done.
Well, yeah, that's the other half of it. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
You regular listeners of the podcast know that I'd love the sport regardless. But I'm just in such a good spot right now with everything that's going on. We're in the thick of wedding planning and all that kind of stuff, and things are starting to take shape with that, and everything is just positive.
You know what it might be? Because you might have some other concentration external to golf. It's not the be all end all. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like it could be like you get it's almost like an escape without being an escape. You get there, it's like, right, lock in. This is my opportunity to really enjoy myself, and you make the most of it rather than during the week yeah, you're working full time, but you don't have quite the heavy responsibility of something like a wedding.
That's a big
So
factor.
you're thinking about your round on Wednesday already, but instead of thinking about it that morning, going, right, I'm playing golf, and then that's when you turn on, and that's when everything comes naturally rather than manifesting it during the week.
We've spoken a lot about golf maturity.
Yeah.
And this is a large part of it. Well, I'll back you up in what you've it's a massive thing. Anyone who's done it, planning a wedding is fucking huge, right? And you're right, golf has been an escape. But I feel like in the last 2.5 years, I've seen golf more as an escape than I have and rather than just throwing all my eggs in the basket of, I get to play golf on Saturday, I better play well. It's more just like, no. I get to play golf on Saturday. How sick is that? Or I get to play golf on an RDO. Or whatever it might be. Or there's a public holiday coming up. Whatever.
You're just taking advantage of the opportunity.
Correct. Rather than throwing all the eggs in the basket. Like Saturday, for example, I had 35 points playing off 4, 3 jabbed on 18 for 35 points. Put it in the bunker, made double bogey. It was just shit. Right? Walking onto the tee box going, all you need to do is make 5 and you've had 36 and you're happy.
Yeah.
Put in
Manifested the double because you've thought about the result before you teed off.
Probably, right? But even still, put my second shot in the bunker on the right-hand side and thought, make it a simple up and down.
Just dump it out.
Just dump it out, get it close. And 2-putt and make 5, walk away, right? And then 3 jabbed it. Ugh. And I was like, no.
Whoops.
And I was pissy, right? And SGM sat me down. We had a bite to eat afterwards, and he's like, dude, don't think about it. He's like, you've played unreal today.
Yeah.
He goes, get your head out of your ass.
Yeah.
Get your head out of your ass. Don't be pissy
You're mad
about
because it was the last
Don't
hole.
let 1 3-putt fucking ruin your whole weekend.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
that is so smart.
Yeah, so true.
It's just, again, I'm so thankful for those two just to pull me back and just go, shut up.
That's a mate. Instead of going, oh, it's a good round. Shame about that last one. It's like, nah, pull your finger out, dickhead.
Yeah.
You played good. You had 1 bad hole.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have mattered if that was the 3rd hole.
No.
But because it was the last, that's why you're pissed. Right?
Yeah,
That's
you
the
walk off on
difference.
it. You walk off on a shit one.
Yeah, if it was the 3rd
Right.
hole, you'd been like, fuck, I played awesome even with that bad hole. It's like, no.
And like I was visibly emotional about it. And Gav Duncan, former club captain, comes up to me and goes, I don't feel like I want to ask. And I'm like, 35. And he's like,
what?
he's like, what are you? He's like, what happened there? I'm like, 3 jab. He's like, I see. And he's like, get in there and have a beer. I was like, okay.
Okay.
But yeah, just I'm in such, and you're right though. Like planning a wedding is huge and it is an escape. But like I said, that maturity, that golf maturity of just looking forward to the experience of playing golf rather than throwing all the eggs in the basket of I have to play well.
Well, you've explained this before. I used to be like that as well. I can probably say with confidence I'm not anymore. But you always used to say it would be like a Wednesday afternoon during the working week, and you're already thinking about the first 3 holes, how you'd play the first 3 holes at Heidelberg. And I'm like, you've lost already.
Yeah.
And then you go out and go double. And because you've already thought about how you'd play them, it doesn't go to plan. Now you're shitty, right? So like ruins the day already.
Yeah.
Right. And now instead it's like Friday night, you still haven't thought about the round yet. You're not. It's like that switch
All
on.
I'm thinking is, what time do I need to be up?
Yeah, what time do I
Out
need
of
to go?
bed.
And you know what I love? So Scotty Scheffler did. I love how we're always going back to him. It's sort of
It's Tigerisms.
it's Tiger-esque, isn't it?
Tigerisms.
With
Scottyisms.
We're like quoting Scottyisms. We're like quoting him. Scottism. We're like quoting him now, right?
Yep.
He said, "Be where your feet are. Be where your feet are.
Yeah.
Be present. Be where your feet are. You can't, like, he goes, when I'm home with the wife and kids, I'm home with the wife and kids. I'm not thinking about a swing thought. If I'm out on the range, I'm not thinking about the kid's birthday next week. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm out on the golf course. Like, and I love that. I love that you know, you could be at work and you're already thinking about your round of golf, or you're out on the 3rd hole and you're thinking about what might happen at work next week. Like, you've lost already.
Yeah.
You're behind the 8 ball from the
enjoy
start.
it.
Just be where your feet are, and I love that.
Yeah, it's such a good piece of advice, and throwing all your strength and your concentration and your mental awareness into one thing at a time. When you're doing that one thing, regardless of what it is, so important.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you know how many times, and I've screamed at my family members in the past because they'll shoot me a text message when I'm on the golf course going, can you give me a call when you finish golf? I just need to chat to you about something. And all of a sudden I'm like, who's died?
Yeah.
Who's died? Why are you ringing me? Why are you texting me this shit?
Yeah.
Like, I've got golf to worry about. Now I'm fucking worried about what's going on at home.
Yeah. And it could be as simple as like, it could be something.
Oh, do you want to come around for dinner tomorrow night?
Yeah, you're like-
why could that not have waited
Yeah.
an hour and a half?
Yeah.
You know.
I'm on the golf course,
and there
yeah.
was a time where I had to put strict rules in place, particularly with, and she's listening, my mum, right? Between 6 a.m. and 2:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday, I'm not to be contacted.
Yeah.
I'll contact you.
Yeah.
And then I'm done.
Yeah. If someone has died, that's when you see 4 missed calls and it call me now. That's when you're like,
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
But if it's like, do you want to come for dinner? That way's till 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Facts. Yeah, facts.
And I've always told my mum, I'll give you a call on the drive home from golf just to check in, see how you're doing. Right? Because I know it's a Saturday. She knows I'm out there and she wants to have a chat. Right? Just wait for me to do it first.
Yeah. Just talk, about the week.
Correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, just, I can't stress it enough. Loving it. Fucking loving it.
Good.
Now, Jolly, I spoke to you earlier. We've already done the US Open bonus episode. We hope you thoroughly enjoyed that. While you're at it, ladies and gentlemen, head down and hit the like and subscribe button.
Yes.
Follow us on Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok as well.
All of the above.
Leave the 5-star reviews.
All of the below, actually.
All of the below and the above and everywhere else. I spoke to you earlier about a topic that I'd been thinking of for the last couple of weeks. You've done well in the last few weeks to bring up some topics.
About time you pulled your weight.
Fuck up. You've lifted your own weight in the last little while and brought to the table a few topics, and thank you for that because it's eased the pressure on me doing it. But I thought I'd return the favor. I've done a lot of not soul searching. I've done a lot of reflecting in the last sort of 6 to 8 weeks about just sort of how far things have come, especially in my golf. And that tends to happen a lot with me when improvements are made in the handicap. Numbers drop and all of a sudden it's like, fuck, remember when you were playing off 11 and you sucked? Right? And you couldn't hit a bunker shot to save your life and now you're looking at bunkers going, fucking get in there. How good's that look? Right? And it just got me thinking about all the old expectations I had on myself and all the old goals that I used to set that might not have been score related.
Or like what you thought was good.
Yeah. Right. All the weird, and we've done this before in a sense of like all the weird things that amateurs do that more experienced players might look at and go, what the fuck are you on about? Right. But I wanted to speak to you about it and see what your perspective on it is, especially about goal setting and how it's developed over the course of your golfing life. And I'll kick us off, right? Because there was one where I wanted to. There was a period of my life.
I've got a good timeline now. Yeah.
Right.
Go. Yeah.
There was a period of my life when, and especially just as I was joining Heidelberg, where I thought that hitting 2 like well struck iron shots in a row was huge, right? Because you'd flush one out of the middle, and a lot of amateurs who are probably of a higher number might understand this feeling. You flush one, and then you walk up to the next one and go out of the toe or shank one, thin one, flub one. You just absolutely fuck it, right? That feeling of hitting 2, and then the first time I did, it was like, oh, I'm on. Can I go for 3?
Yeah.
And then, nah.
Nah, you play off 26.
And then all of a sudden it's just like, well, what it got me, that's what sort of spiraled and it got me thinking about other goals that I used to set and other expectations I used to have.
Was this a shower thought, was it?
Yeah, big time. Maybe a drive, maybe even a drive home thought, like in silence. One of those. You've had those.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I drive to work. So I'll drive 45 minutes sometimes, and I'll pull into wherever I'm going, whether it's Rosanna work, whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
I've driven 40 minutes, and I realize there's nothing on, and I'm like, Jesus, how'd I get here?
Yeah, correct.
Like, I haven't hit anyone. Like,
The amount of times I've driven to work in the morning, turned into the driveway and just gone, whoa, fuck.
yeah, I'm glad I made it.
How's this? Is anyone dead? Do I need to turn around? Like, what's happened? Fuck.
Yeah, but yeah, that's when you get those sort of thoughts.
Have you had? Have you got any of those that you can remember from when you were a lot younger, maybe before even the age of 10, that you might have thought this is what I want to achieve?
Yeah. So it was. Yeah. So when I was first sort of when I say starting out, when I was probably started playing a Saturday comp with the old boy.
Yeah.
Of a Saturday morning when I'm 9, 10, 11 years old, right? Playing off a high figure. It was as simple as maybe making a par.
Yeah. The simple
For
scoring
one round.
Yeah.
One around. And then, you start making a couple around or something like that. And all of a sudden, I want to make a bird. Like, I remember I couldn't, with the irons I had when I was like 9, or I think it was 10, when I was like just after my 10th birthday, that we were discussing a few eps back.
Yeah.
About the first, whatever you
Yeah.
or the timeline back, right? Or like trip down memory lane, I think. We
Yeah,
called it.
correct.
I had these irons that probably weighed more than me,
Yeah.
like per iron. Right? So I'm struggling to lift these things, let alone hit the ball.
Yeah.
So just hitting a flush shot, and I distinctly remember the first time it was on the third hole at Yarrambat, and it was 136 meters, and I hit 5-iron to the center of the green with this tight draw. It was the first time I flushed an iron shot.
Yeah,
That was my
right.
first iron shot that I hit really good. And I'm like, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I had no idea because I'm so used to duffing it or skunk fucking it, or
Yeah.
even if I did hit it, okay, it wouldn't go in the where I wanted it.
Yep.
Like this was the first time I hit this tight draw to the center of the green, and now I'm all of a sudden putting for, I think it was par because I skunk fucked the drive, but I'm like, whoa. I think I 4-putted it. I reckon I had 100 putts because I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
But that was like, I was so happy. I walked off with a 15 on the hole, but going, oh my God, best hole ever.
Yeah.
Because I just achieved something that I never thought I would, right?
Yeah.
And you know what, now that you've said that, like the different incremental like goals that you have, I find, I'm not going to say the worse you are, but the higher standard you are, the smaller the goals are. So for example, someone playing off 30, all they want to do is make a par. Something like that. When you get to something lower than that, maybe 18, I just want to make a birdie.
Yeah.
Right? You get to 10. Okay, I want to shoot even par on the 9 holes.
Yeah.
When you get to 4 or 5, I just want to shoot under par. Like shit like that. But the goal gets bigger and bigger. Instead of hitting one flush iron shot, you're now kind of used to that when you play off a single figure. Well, more used to that. And whereas for myself, my goal isn't to make, I want to make 3 birdies this round. That's not my goal. My goal now is to have a really good 4-month stretch of tour events.
Yeah.
That's my goal now. Whereas for someone off a much higher standard, the goal is a lot smaller and a lot finer in terms of,
Timeline.
well, yeah.
Timeline. So you start talking about hole by hole goals.
Yeah.
Right. As
Yeah.
opposed to month by month stretches of tournaments.
Of tournament schedules,
right.
yeah.
I completely agree with you.
You know what
like
I mean?
I've gotten to a level now where I don't want to make doubles anymore.
Yeah.
Not one.
Yeah.
I don't fucking want them.
Yeah.
I didn't have a double today. I was wrapped.
You never want
I was
one,
wrapped.
but now it's like you've got the idea of the capability, and you know you can. Now you've got the mentality and you've got the sort of skill level to back it.
Yeah.
Like I will. Everyone will. Like, but I now never want to shoot over par again, ever. Right, but it will happen.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
I'm the same.
I could shoot it over par tomorrow.
I don't want to shoot over 80
Yeah.
ever again.
I could shoot over par tomorrow. I have no idea, right? But that's my mindset. I'd never want to shoot over par again.
Now,
But I know I will. But that's a goal. That's my next goal.
Yeah.
Is for I've now got like a 10-year goal instead of a weekend goal.
the
you
other
know what I mean?
the other half of this topic, and we won't just wrap it up just yet. We'll keep going.
No.
The other half of it is cast your mind back to 3 years ago. Take the goals that you've got now and say them to Joel 3 years ago.
Oh fuck yeah! Actually, now you've put it that way.
Right. So when you and I first met 5 years ago or so, you were playing off 2 or 3, maybe scratch.
When I was when you
When
were
you were in-
2018, wasn't it?
It was like when you were finishing year 12 or the first year after school.
2019, I reckon
Yeah.
was the first year we actually
18, 19.
played together.
in or thereabouts, just before
2019 was my year 12 year.
COVID. Yeah. So just before COVID.
Yeah.
All right, you're playing off maybe a cup, maybe one
I
or
was,
two.
it was like one, yeah.
Yeah.
It was something like that.
Tell Joel of that year that your goal now is you want a 4-month stretch of good golf on the Oz Tour.
Yeah, true. Oh, that's
Fucking
weird,
hell.
man. That's weird, man.
Even worse,
that 5 years ago?
Go back to me, right? I was playing off 12 at the time, maybe 11. Tell that bloke that he never wants to have a double again.
Yeah,
or never wants to shoot
shoot over 80.
over 80.
And that's all you did.
And that's all I did.
Yeah.
And I'm like, back then I was like, I don't want to shoot over 94. And now I don't want to shoot over 80.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Actually, that's kind of bizarre. Though. No, fuck.
it's a good method to sort of just take a minute and understand the achievements that you have made. And you can do this at any level. And it's kind of why I've continued to love it so much and why my thirst for more improvement and thirst for the game has remained. And there's no burnout yet because I keep constantly reminding myself, I'm like, mate, you sucked not that long ago.
Relative to your improvement, yeah, sure,
100%.
Like if you now today played against yourself in even
The
even
first
2
year of
years,
joining.
even 2 years ago,
Yeah.
even in 2023, you'd you'd smoke yourself.
Yeah.
You literally would.
Yeah.
And like that's the same as myself. When we first played, all right, let's go back to when we first played together in 2019, late 2019. Like, I would bully me. My standard now, I would bully me.
Yeah. It's like
I would
7 and 6.
Probably
7 and 6.
maybe and some.
Yeah.
Right. But and when I was playing off one, I'm like, I play off one.
Yeah.
Right. And now, like, if I looked at myself like now, looking back then, I'll be like, shut up, idiots. Shut up, idiots.
Yeah, correct.
Like, playing off one is a great figure to be off.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not discrediting anyone that plays off a low figure. If you play off better than 18, you can play golf. You can make your way around a golf course. I'm not discrediting that.
Yep.
But it's relative to the standard I'm at now compared to what it was. It's just for me personally. Right. So yeah, now you put it that way. That's kind of
So we'll
doing
continue
things to me now.
we'll continue the trend. Here's
Yeah.
another one for you.
Keep going.
When I first bought my Mizuno JPX 919, so the old irons that I had, right? There was a whole saga last year, ladies and gents, about my irons, right? And buying new ones. There was a contract, there was everything, right? I encourage you to go back. I think it was like episode 30. I encourage
Was
you
it
to go.
that long ago?
I think so.
Bullshit. I reckon it was.
We'll go back and have a look. I reckon it was around
I
there.
reckon it was sooner than that.
Nah, I don't think so.
There was
Maybe-
a contract. There was signed. It was
There
signed
was
and
a
everything.
signed
It was
contract.
formal.
It was formal, notarized. The fiance wasn't happy about it. But I remember buying those first set of irons that I was replacing last year, right? Pardon me. And going to see Chris Sayer at Drummond. And him telling me, I'm not selling you irons until you get to 14,
Ooh.
right? And I was playing off 18 at the time.
Yeah.
Right? And for a salesman to say that, I've said it before, is phenomenal. Like to
Yeah.
refuse business to someone because
Yeah.
they're just not ready for it.
Yeah.
Credit to him. And
Yeah,
that's why
yeah.
he's a good mate of mine. And I'll constantly use him as a reference point if I ever have
yeah.
issues with anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I remember going home that day, getting a Sharpie and a little piece of paper, writing 14.0 and just putting it on my pinboard at home. And I stared at it every day, just when I was, playing PlayStation or doing assessments for uni or whatever else, looking up and going, 14. I'll get there. And then 3-4 months later, sure enough, there I am. Walk into, Drummond Golf with me
that.
GA going, fucking,
Come on,
let's go.
Hook us up.
Hook us up. And yeah, like even that was a huge goal for me at the time, was to get to 14.0 because it's achievement. All right, now you can reward yourself with buying some new sticks, right? And then the next one, I was like, oh, if it worked for 14, maybe it'll work for under 10.
Yeah, 10.
So
9.9.
9.5 I wrote.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's like 9.5. That's a solid number. And then sure enough, 8 months later,
Yeah,
bang, there it is.
There it is.
And I was improving at a rapid, it might have even been a bit longer. It might have been closer to a year, if not more.
Yeah.
But I was improving at such a rate.
Yeah, there's got to be some sort of reward system. It can't be just a mentality, because I feel like people lose track of that too often unless you're professional at it. Like I'm still struggling with it. I still sometimes need that little bit of that little
Reminder.
that little hot dog in front of me hanging off a bit of a string. Like
Yeah.
I eventually can grab that. I'm not just constantly chasing it.
No.
Right? There has to be some sort of reward at each milestone.
Yeah,
There
I
has to
complete-
be something.
I completely
right?
agree with you.
Otherwise you're chasing nothing. You're just
Yep.
chasing your tail, right? So I remember my 10th birthday. I reckon I think it was to get under 30 handicap or something like that. And yeah, that was the reward it was my 10th birthday. I got those new set of clubs.
The Wilson
Those Wilson fucking something.
D2s or whatever they
D2.
were.
I don't know what they were. Right. And it was like, I'm like, cool, I'm PGA Tour bound next year with these. Like, that's what
Let's
what I
go.
thought. I'm like, I'm on here. I play off plus 20.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I thought, right? And that was my sort of little spark then to sort of get moving. And then I remember I wanted to play off 12 when I was 12. Right. And I didn't. I think I was just out of that. Right. But then, yeah, I wanted to play off a certain figure and try and match a lot of the tour pros that I was watching. So like your Jason Day, like he was playing off, I think it was scratch when he was 14 or something like that. So that was my goal. I didn't quite get it. Right. But I ended up playing off scratch just before my 16th birthday. So it was well, I'm not going to say close enough. It's
pretty good.
But I'm still stoked with it. It was close. Like, that was my new goal. I didn't get to scratch when I was 14, which not many do, unless you're Jason Day, right? But so I'm like, all right, well, no, I didn't get that. All right, 0 before I'm 16. And I was 0 before I'm 16. So I'm like, beautiful. There we go. And literally stayed there for fucking ages.
Yeah.
Right? Stayed there for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Probably from until I was probably 19 before I went from around that scratch 1, 2-ish to anything even close to +1.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, there was like a reward system. There was something that you put on the line, whether it was
something
negative
up
or
for grabs.
positive. If you didn't reach the milestone, you have to do this, like within yourself. Or if you get to this spot, that's when you get that, right? Like there was always, you always got to
Motivate.
almost collapsed then. Motivate yourself in a way, whether that is new irons, new putter, new bag, new shoes, new something. Like there has to be something you're working towards. And a lot of people have it differently. Like there's just, you got to set yourself a reward for your goal.
Yeah.
Or if you work better off working away from a punishment, however your brain goes.
That's it.
However your brain goes, is your motivation getting something in return for your achievement, or working away from a consequence because of your lack of achieving? Like, what is it? And mine's the opposite. I like working towards something. I have to, right? I don't like, if I'm working away from something, I tend to override the consequence in my head to not be as bad as it might be. So I'm sort of like, it's not that bad. I don't give a shit. Right. Whereas working towards something that I really want is the motivator.
Yeah, absolutely.
So something like, even like we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, that are like properly into the gym routine now. Like the motivation, the simple motivation, one is it's addicting as fuck, right? But there's this app that the PT that I go through set me up with, and it's like the little ticks. You have to tick them off. I have to tick off each set. And I have to follow the number. It tells, like, the time it tells me to rest. But then afterwards it tells me each time I gained the weight that I've pushed or lifted or whatever, right? So it tells you these achievements, and that it only tells you after your session. It doesn't tell you at the time.
Right.
So then, but it does prompt you what you did previous session. So I'm like, all right, it says I did, trying to think. I did a 25 kilo there's this one-legged squat that you do, and you have to rep that. And like my previous session, I did 23 kilos or something like that. Yeah. And because I can't hurt myself, so it's something on the lighter end. But now I'm like, no, all right, I'll do 25 this set. And the next set I'll do 27. And it tells you after you did your session, you have to tick it off each time. Yeah, so that's why, that's my motivator.
It's tangible. It's right there in front of you.
It's
you can
right
see
there.
it.
I'm achieving it as I'm doing it.
In real time.
Yeah,
and
in real time.
You're being, what's it called? You're being shown the progress in real time.
Yeah, well, the line is, I'm working towards something better, and that's my motivation towards something better, rather than working away from being fat. Like, you know what I mean?
Correct.
That my motivator is better rather than working away from something worse.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I guess you just got to find your
motivating
spot,
factors.
your motivating factor. What is your motivating factor?
Absolutely.
And that's going to work towards whatever goal you set.
Exactly. And that's the best thing about it, is that it's so malleable. You can change it and do whatever you want with it, and you can adapt it into any aspect of golf or fitness or health, whatever it is. Change something, or set different goals. It's so broad, but you can make it so tailored to you.
It's individual.
So individual. It's an individual sport. I recently, and going back to the whole goal setting thing, I recently set a challenge to one of the boys, Matt Bainey, who you know pretty well. You know his brother well. He's at Rosanna and stuff. Yeah.
Was
family member and all that kind of stuff with me. And so he's gotten down to like 11.5. Right. And he's loving it, just like I am, and all that kind of stuff. And I said to him, I was like, are you still trending? He's like, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, what's the goal? And he goes, I'd like to get under 10. Like, I'd like to get to singles. I'm like, perfect. All right, let's set ourselves a challenge. He is at 11.5. I'm at 3.5. So I said, right, first to lose the next 2.5 shots. So I get to 1.0, you get to 9.0. Loser buys a beer. Right? Simple. Right? It's just a little bit of that whole accountability thing that Remy and I had last year, where we're just constantly checking in on each other going, good results, keep it going, keep practicing, whatever it might be. Matt doesn't practice all that much. He just rocks up on a Saturday, but he's just got game. Like he can do it. He can move the ball. And yeah, so that's just but that me setting that challenge is more for me than it is for him. Just so that I can have something else to work towards.
He probably thinks the same.
Probably, right? It's not about beating him.
No.
It's about, all right, well, that's the next goal. He's 1.0.
Yeah. But the motivating thing is if he drops a shot before you drop a shot, you're like, oh, fuck, hang on, he's dropped a shot first. You know, then that's where that kicks in. But
Correct. That's where that competitive nature will kick in. And we discussed that a lot last 100%. Week. But it really threw me like I said, it's a nice reminder of being appreciative of where you've come from.
Yeah, where you've been.
Right? The path that you've walked to get here, because whether you started at 30, now you're at 21, fair enough. Or whether you've started at 25 and now you're playing off 9 or whatever the circumstances are. It's always, and I keep telling my mum this because she's dropped a few shots in the last little while, and I keep telling her, I'm like, just remember, it's solid improvement.
Reflection is powerful.
100%.
It's like I couldn't. It's a weird thing to think about. Even like for myself, the week before going into my first Q school, like it was very disappointing for myself after the fact. Right, but going into it, I had no idea
what to expect.
What the next 18 months, 2 years was gonna like. I had no idea, no clue. But you know, gave that a crack and wasn't equipped enough for it clearly. Right, and then all of a sudden, you know. got into final stage by the skin of my teeth. Did my absolute best to fuck it up, but and then did well enough in the final stage to gain something, right? But and then now it's like a completely different goal now. Rather than going, I just want to make it through the first stage. In even just recently, that was my first goal, and now it's like, no, hang on, I want to have now this full exemption category where I'm up with the big dogs. That's the new goal. It's like. And now the old goal isn't even in front of me anymore.
Nah.
It's something that doesn't matter anymore.
Because your perception of expectations changes over time.
Is always increasing. It's
because and you become comfortable in the scenario that you're in, right?
Yeah.
So you were very uncomfortable the first year you did Q school. You had no idea what to expect.
No,
and you've never been there
idea,
before.
I had no idea what to do.
All of a sudden you've had 2 cracks at it. You've got something out of the most recent event. Now you're comfortable in the sense that I know what that stage is like.
Yeah.
I can go and crack it.
I know the capabilities.
Let's have it go. And it's, you know, and that again, the scaling factor of going further down the ranks in terms of golf. Like you look at, again, like last year I sat here and said, I want to shake it up a little bit in club champs. I want to just cause a bit of damage and, you know, create a bit of noise.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
This year now, I'm just like, I want to have a fucking crack.
Yeah, let's have a go.
Because the thing is, I'm not that far behind some of these blokes who were winning it in the last couple of years. Who's to say? We had a bloke who won it last year or 2 years ago off 5, playing off 5.
Yeah.
And he just put 4 solid rounds in the 70s together. I'm like, I can put 4 solid rounds in the 70s together now.
Well, you have.
Exactly. Who's to say I can't?
Yeah, just recently. Yeah.
Exactly. So you don't have to shoot under par sometimes to, you know, that's the next thing for me is to have more and more even par rounds and start flirting with under.
Yeah.
But I'm not thinking about that. No. I'm not stressing about it when I walk up to the first tee box. It's just like, cool. The one thing I will say is the one thing I have noticed the most is how weird it is that I've shifted from worrying about stroke compared to worrying about Stableford and how that seesaw kind of changes in rounds and all that kind of stuff. There was a period where I wasn't worried about Stableford points. I was just worried about shooting the best stroke round. Get as close to 76 as you possibly can and walk away happy. And that was before I even before I started improving like I had in the last 12 weeks, right? Since I flipped it on its head and started worrying about only Stableford points and taking the 5s and the 6s and the 4s and all that shit out of it, solely worrying about Stableford points, that's when I've started to notice a decline because that goal doesn't change. Yeah. 36 points does not change.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense now.
Do you know what I mean? Instead of walking
I thought you're like, 2 points a hole. I'm like, what?
Yeah, 2 points a hole are well and good. Yeah, but 36 points is a total.
Points. Yeah.
Right? I'm not walking onto a tee box going, well, I need a birdie here.
Well, if you shoot 36 points every time you play golf, eventually, your handicap will just keep coming down. 100%. That's how it works.
So it's funny that I've noticed how different is now compared to previously, where I was so worried about shooting 79, 78, and worrying about that big number in terms of strokes compared to, well, what does that actually mean? I need to worry about one number and Stableford points. If I'm playing Stableford, that's it.
Yeah.
If I'm playing par, I just need to worry about a plus number. Have a plus number. It's all good.
Yeah, who cares?
It's again just narrowing that vision of just like, this is the goal. Don't worry about 70s and unders and over pars, whatever. It gives a fuck. Worry about the handicap because that's your game.
Yeah, that's you.
That's you.
Yeah, it's you.
Who cares what everyone else has? I don't need to shoot under par. That'll happen.
Yeah,
eventually.
Eventually, yeah.
But worry about the Stableford points for now.
Crazy.
That is the quickest way to get down.
I'm the exact opposite.
But
which
but the
makes
thing is, you have to be.
I have to be. Yeah.
Because your vision of competitive golf is not in Stableford points.
No.
You don't
exactly.
care about how you play Saturday, Sunday comps with your old man to go play with your old man. And
Yeah,
to do a bit
generally,
of work and to practice.
Sort some, it is.
Get
it
some
is.
competitive practice in.
It is, yeah.
Right? As we discussed last week. That competitive practice for you, that's my competition.
That's
where
your
I perform. That's my stage.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Our the term stages, our stages are different. You're worrying about shooting under par every week because you need to go do that on your stage.
Well, it's weird. Like there's see for me, the Stableford point aspect of it is definitely a reflection of how you've played.
Yeah.
Right. So if there's a day that's blowing its head off, raining a little bit, it's cold, right? And if I go out to any golf course and shoot under par, happy days. Because if I do that in tournament, I'm not going to be too far off, especially when it's an average day. As you've probably seen, like it's not, it doesn't relate closely, but like at Oakmont, the guys that can shoot closest to par in those sort of elements are going to go a long way. Yep. Like even par gained spots. Even par elsewhere at the CJ Cup, you're losing 30 because guys are shooting 6 under. You miss the cut, right? But with that, in relation to that, with the extreme, right? So there was one time, right, where I had to put in perspective for a couple people because when I was, it was like mid last year, I reckon it was, maybe even the year before, and it was one of the worst Thursdays we've like ever seen. It was like, it was 1 degree in the morning. It was windy as, and it was cold and a bit rainy during the day. So it was just absolutely miserable. And I played great and shot 2 under.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. And I played amazing considering the elements. Right. However, on the scorecard, it said I had like 32 points or 33 points or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was happy, very happy, very pleased because in relation to the elements, I've had a great score and in relation to maybe if it was a tournament round as well. So I've gone into the clubhouse and some of the guys check the scorecard before I've come in and they go, oh, close, not bad, Jolly, not quite your day. And I'm like, I played amazing. They're like, 32 points. And I'm like, no, I had 2 under par in that. Like I played fantastic.
Yeah.
I played amazing. Like if I shot 6 under, I shouldn't be here in those elements.
Perceptions of expectations.
Right? And it's like, and sometimes it annoys me. Well, not sometimes it annoys me, but there's occasions where it's like, I have a daily handicap going somewhere else, and like I played at Northern or something like that, and was playing off like +7 for the day or something.
You've
like
done
that.
it before at Heidelberg too.
Yeah, I've played off +7 for the day and had 34 points. Right, and they go, and someone would look at that going 34. Yeah, he played okay, but not quite to his handicap. And it's like, no, I've shot 5 under still.
Yeah,
like I've still had a good day, but it's like it's a weird.
You've had a number that others would dream of.
Well, sort of, and on the other end,
it's perception of expectations.
So I kind of disregard the Stableford points a lot. A lot of the times they go, how'd you go? I had 3 under.
Yeah,
and they go, good day, but on there I've come 41st. Right, because I've had 33 points or whatever I've had. Right, and it's like,
but again, it doesn't matter to you.
No,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't in that respect. Like yesterday I played with the old boy, and I want to shoot the best score I possibly could. But if I don't, it doesn't matter. As long as I've taken something out of it in terms of how the body feels. Okay, I hit the tee, something that say me and Raptor have been working on during the week. Did I execute that well?
Yep.
Does the putter feel good in the hands? Did I hit those wedge shots that I've been working on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Like, did I hit that shape that I wanted to? Whether the result results in a good round or not. I don't really care. It's just a bonus.
Yeah.
So if I do play well and have a really low score, fantastic, right? But as long as I executed the things that matter the most on the biggest stage, that's all I really care about. And like yesterday, I had 3 under. I'm never upset with an under par round ever, right? But I, for the most part, executed all the things that I wanted to. So whether that was 3 under or 8 under, I don't care. I executed the things I needed to, so I'm not disappointed. You know what I mean? I could have shot 6 over, but as long as I execute the things that I wanted to, happy days, regardless of the score with a Sunday comp, just over Rosanna.
Yeah.
As long as I execute the things I want to, fantastic. I can then put that into tournament play.
No, there you go.
So it's
How
different goals.
Questions?
You've opened my mind up. That was crazy.
There you go. So just like I said, please, I encourage you to do
reflection.
it. Have a bit of a reflection about where you were, where you are now. If it's better, great. If it's not, maybe there needs to be some changes. But that's all right. It happens. It's all part of the journey that we're all on. But definitely when you reach a new milestone or a new achievement, think back to where you were 3, 6, 12 months, however many years ago, and genuinely appreciate, because it'll improve your thirst for the game overall. And it's worked for me. I'm sure it'll work for others. Cool. So no, that's the final thing. But yeah, questions from the second card. Have you got one?
I do.
Go.
I do. Put yourself in a caddy's shoes.
Yep.
Right. Who would you rather caddy for in a particular moment? Was it Bryson's bunker shot last year at the US Open or JJ Spawn's putt in this US Open? Which caddy would you rather be? What do you reckon was like cooler? What do you reckon was the better moment? As amazing as they both were, because fucking hell.
That's a great question.
What do you reckon? Which caddy would you rather be?
The thing is, I keep thinking they're both going to be shown in highlights packages for the next 100 years.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
They're going to be talked about like Sam Snead's Albatross in the Masters in whenever, right? So trying to pick between them is fucking almost impossible.
Hard, yeah. Because they're both unbelievable in their both respects. Like Bryson's up and down was like possibly one of the best up and downs I've ever seen.
Yeah.
In the circumstances, but also JJ, that was the longest putt hold at Oakmont throughout the week. That was the longest hold putt. Was just under 60 feet. It was the longest hold putt, and that was to win the US Open.
Yeah.
Well, he needed 2 putts to win, but he still needed that to win, and he hold it to win.
I think I'm going to
one would you
go.
rather be there for?
I'm going to go for Bryson for the sheer fact that he had to hit it twice. JJ hits it once. Do you know what I mean?
Not
I think
really. Yeah. Well,
that up and down as a whole, I think is more stressful, more intense than JJ just getting the line and speed right. I mean, there's a lot of skill and effort, and I'm not taking anything away from JJ Spawn. That putt is phenomenal, and it's going to be one of the most rewatched putts in the history of golf forever.
Yeah.
But that up and down from
I think I know what you mean.
from 50 odd yards or whatever it was, hacks a 50-degree wedge and puts it to 4 feet to then walk all that way and fist pump the way he was fist pumping out of the bunker to then walk up to that ball, line it up and drain a little 4-footer when his knees would have been like shaking and his grips, I know I would have been, right?
Probably would have missed it.
Yeah. I think
I'd just back it. Yeah. I'd just back it
I
because
take nothing away from JJ Spawn,
I mean, it's so sick.
but stripping it right back to the sheer act of hitting a putt versus making a sweet up and down. As horrible as this is going to sound, JJ just got the line and speed right.
In fairness, kind of Bryson as well.
Yeah, I get it.
But in terms of difficulty, Bryson's was harder.
I agree. And that's probably why I go for that.
In terms of difficulty, Bryson's was harder, but he already has a US Open. He already had his feet planted in the PGA Tour and /Live.
I don't think that makes a difference.
No, yeah, true.
Because if Tiger pulls off Bryson's shot,
yeah, you're supposed to do that. Tiger.
Exactly.
You're supposed
or
to do
if
that.
Scotty does it,
Yeah.
I don't think it takes anything away from it.
No.
What would you go?
Cool.
You go on JJ's putt? I think
Maybe recency bias. Nah, I'd probably, if push came to shove, it would be Bryson's.
Yeah.
But probably just because it was a recency bias. I genuinely was felt like I was there in the moment when I watched that live just this morning. Like I really felt the emotion. It was really weird, just because I knew like a bit of background. I knew what like the previous months he's had, like what I felt like started at the players, and then it's the build up of he goes, when is this going to happen?
Yeah.
Is this ever going to happen, or am I just going to get so close with all these bad breaks? Like, when's it going to happen? So I sort of felt like the emotion hit me a bit harder than like just the impressive like Bryson's shot. You know what I mean? Like, and then you could see JJ didn't actually know. He didn't know how to react. He didn't like he went off when the putt went in, but afterwards he's like,
what now?
Fuck, did that just happen? Like he didn't. He's like, oh my god.
The other half of it is that there were still two blokes playing, and they were out of contention.
Yeah. Well,
but there's something else about winning a major or a tournament when you're in the last group and you're the last person to make a putt.
True. Well, because it was Bryson was the very last shot, and Bryson actually needed to make up and down to win to not go to a playoff. So that was my question.
Very good. Very good. I've chopped and changed mine a bunch of times throughout this episode.
Saw you typing.
Yeah. I might have two. I'm going to ask this one first and we'll see how we go. We were talking before about times when you might have shot a number and their perception of your round doesn't really correlate to yours, right? What's the worst score you've had on a golf course where you've walked off thinking, I played unreal today? Is it over par?
Yeah.
And like, I'm not talking about like when you were playing off 15 and you shot 89 or whatever it might be.
No,
right?
it was recent.
I'm talking like recently in the last sort of 3 years where you've been having a red hot crack at making a name for yourself as a pro golfer.
It probably would have been. Trying to think. You know, oh, that's a good one. There's definitely been times where I'll walk in with like at just the score alone, where I'll walk in with like 2 over. But then again, like playing this year at Q School, like I can't stress this enough. Like I haven't had a full exempt tour season where I go out and play week after week or something like that. But I've played enough like high caliber events to go like Q School is the hardest week of your entire life. Yeah. Like without a doubt. And you see tour players saying that as well. Like the Q School, there's nothing that compares. But like in terms of golf. But yeah, I reckon it was my first Q School year. First Q School. I think, I'm trying to think. I reckon it might have been, I reckon it was the third round of first stage, maybe even the second round. It was one of the two. I reckon I shot like even.
Yep.
Or 1 over or something like that, and didn't miss a shot.
Yeah, right.
Like the putter was cold that week, but disregard it. Like I striped it. Like I had that one big number in that final round on my like 14th hole or something like that, but absolutely flushed it.
Right.
And played, disregard that, played so good. So, and then I come in and, you know, you see the total was 1 over for the 3 days. And people go, not quite good enough, Jolie. And I'm like, yeah, I had 2 big numbers, or one big number and a couple little blemishes here and there. But those, like, had 4 average holes over 54 holes.
Yeah.
Right. And played 50 holes of pretty good golf. Right. Even though I'd just shown up at Rosanna and, you know, breaking 70 most of the time, or, you know, 6 times out of 10. And then show up and I'm over par somewhere else. And yes, the level of difficulty at those golf courses, like something like Moona, is very different. Like especially the Open far out this year. Oh my god, it was showing its teeth.
That joint's unreal.
Oh, it's showing its teeth. But yeah, probably one of those rounds in my first Q School.
Yeah, right.
Oh, actually, Asian Tour Q School as well at Derrimut. Probably that 2 under round I had in the first round. Like, played phenomenal that day. Played so good. Luke was on the bag.
Yep.
And that 2 under felt like 10.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Like, because of how hard it was. That 2 under was sitting me at like top 4.
Yeah. Okay.
Or something like that. Like, it was blowing its head off. Greens were running it so quick.
perception of expectations, mate.
Yeah, and played really good. And people were like, oh yeah, pretty solid. I'm like, you have no idea how good I played or how hard that was.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was. Yeah, Q schools, dude. Fuck.
I hope I never have to experience that again, man.
Well, you never know.
I'm afraid that's probably not the end of the run with Q schools.
There's a long time
Whether
between
it's-
now and the next one, and we hope that it all goes well between now and then.
Yeah,
but
I
I've got one more for you.
Yeah, go for it.
You're playing at Oakmont in the US Open,
Yeah.
right? You are in the thick rough.
Yeah.
Would you rather have 175 meters in with a 4-iron or 30 meters in with a lob wedge?
Oh, lob wedge.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get it out with the 4-iron.
Oh, okay. Well, then,
I wouldn't get it out.
all right. Would you rather have, all right, let's say 130 meters or something with an 8-iron?
No.
Still a lobby?
I'd rather greenside for sure. I'd like the more loft the
Short-sided?
better.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah?
I wouldn't get it out with a 4-iron.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get it out. I'm seeing Rory McIlroy trying to chop it out with some sort of wedge and hits it 4 meters.
All right, let me change it again.
Yeah, all right.
Would you rather, you got lob wedge regardless.
Yeah,
But would
yeah.
you rather be like further up the fairway and have to hit like one out over a bunker or just have like a shot at a flag greenside? What do you reckon is the hardest shot to pull off?
Or
So like
it's
you've tugged driver left or whatever it is, and you've got lob wedge in your hand. You're just trying to hack one out, but you've got to hit it over a bunker. You got to hit it at least 45 to 50 meters. Would you rather? What do you reckon's harder to do that or try and stick
A
one
little
close?
delicate chip
little
shot.
delicate one that's like 11 meters.
Ooh, that's a weird one because we saw so many good shots out of the greenside rough, but we also saw plenty of bad.
What do you
when
reckon?
I say bad, but harder.
What do you reckon's easier?
Easier to get a better result? It would probably have to be the shorter one
Okay.
to get closer to the hole. It would have to be, even though it's more delicate and out of that rough, it requires speed.
I kind of think it might be the other way around because you get an opportunity. You've got lob wedge regardless. You've got an opportunity just to hack at one. Try and put
the
on
the problem is you're swinging so much harder and faster than the distance required.
Yeah, correct.
I feel like something
There's
closer.
so much room for
There's
error.
just with how some of those guys struggled out of those shots. Like there was a couple, even the leaders during the week in rounds 1, 2, maybe 3 or something like that. They literally hit it a couple feet.
Yeah. Into more Gumby.
But I don't think I'm going to quickly branch on something. Making courses like length is one thing.
Yeah.
Right? Length is one thing. Like that 300-yard par 3. Like, yeah, that was brutal all week. 640-yard par 5s.
That was just the cherry on top.
It's just a little bit of length. Add like 510-yard par 4s, right? These guys are always going to figure out how to hit it longer. Much like what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to get stronger, hit it further, right? To make golf courses easier, right? For people that have length already plus accuracy, making courses longer, I don't think is the answer. And like Oakmont is long.
Yeah.
Yes, it is long. And every PGA Tour golf course in relation to the courses we play or
long.
the standard member would play at their golf course is diabolically long. So a lot of their par 4s are our par 5s
Yeah.
or members par 5, right? I found the guys that really developed a lot of shots or real snowballed was around the greens. Was making those greens running at 14 or 15 with tricky pins and their greenside. That's where they made up their shots. They hit the middle of the fairway, missed the green, all of a sudden they walk off with 6. Like, and there was guys that really made up for the shots. Like they might miss the fairway, hack it out 50 yards and still make par, right? Because they're so
Just
good
make
from
a
the
solid
fairway.
up and down.
Because they're so good from the fairway.
Yeah.
Right. But when they miss that green and have to get cheeky and delicate with it to greens that are rapid quick, that's where it's difficult. So I find with golf courses, making longer isn't necessarily the answer. It's like it's going to hit a stage where guys are just always going to figure out how to hit it further. Whereas this is why I'm excited for the Aussie Open in December.
Yes.
Because Royal Melbourne's not long
No.
in relation to how far some of these guys hit it, right? It's not long. However, it is so hard because all these false fronts, the greens are going to be that, right? They're going to be running at 15. They run offs into bunkers. There's run off front of the green, short side, like impossible slopes. That's what I think make golf courses hard. The delicacy of around the greens is going to build up or make shots and make bigger scores than it would be to hit it into some rough.
You can sum it up. You can sum it up by saying like not necessarily making it longer is the answer. Making
Yeah.
the trouble more troublesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Around the green, making the
Not just around the greens, anywhere.
Yeah.
If you've got like a place like Oakmont or Royal Melbourne or wherever, if you've got a landing zone that funnels into a bunker,
yeah.
you can.
That's also unrewarding for a good shot. But I understand what you mean.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
making the trouble more troublesome, giving
Yeah.
more obstacles to make the place more difficult. That's ultimately what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily about turning a 300-meter par 4 into a 400-meter par 4. It's about turning, keeping it a 300-meter par 4,
Yeah.
but also putting shit in the way.
Yeah, make the green half the size as it is. Make the landing zones, make the ball control so much harder.
Narrow the fairways, harden up the
Like,
greens.
because all of a sudden around the greens for some of these guys, like a somewhat standard 20-yard chip shot is now next to impossible to get it anywhere near the hole because they've got this long rough around the green that they have no control out of. That's the hard part rather than having a 500-yard par 4. They're still hitting driver pitch and wedge into that. And they're still going to make birdies on that hole. That doesn't make it hard. Like having shit around the green and run off some false fronts and shit and bunkers, deep bunkers and greens running at 15. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Yeah, I'd love to see that, but
Who knows?
That's maybe my opinion.
No, it's
maybe
a
it's just because I don't hit it far enough, making it longer. Making it longer hurts.
You don't want to hear hurts.
I don't want 520-yard par 4s. I don't want that.
Not now, you don't.
No, not yet. No, yeah.
Ah,
no.
very good. Jolly, I think that's a great spot to leave
Yeah.
it, mate. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning into this week's episode of the Gold Jacket, Green Jacket podcast. Please head down, hit the like and subscribe button. Show us some love. We really do appreciate it. Spotify, if you're listening over there, make sure to leave us a comment if you'd like or a 5-star review and ensure you're following us on Spotify as well. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Head covers are on their way, I'm sure. I haven't heard anything just yet. Sorry, follow us on Instagram and TikTok, not Twitter. We're not on Twitter. Not on Twitter. No Twitter.
No Twitter.
I'm still. I'm sure head covers will
Are they
be on
close,
their
are
way
they?
soon. They should be close.
Okay.
Just again by timelines, I'm waiting to hear from them. So
Yeah, cool.
I might try and get in touch with them actually this
It's a
week.
bit of an order, and there's a bit going on with that, I think.
Absolutely. So, otherwise, ladies and gents, hit them very, very well. Enjoy your golf. We'll see you all next week. Cheers.